Cloud server. Recording in progress. Okay, that must mean we're starting. Okay, so on that note, I will quickly organize my windows and get started. Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm excited about this. I'm going to get straight to the point. Oops, I got it. I'm going to get straight to the point and not waste too much time talking about my own situation, because we've all been busy and we've all had to come up with hacks and things, and I'd like to hear yours as well at the end. The reason I'm presenting this is simply the fact that occasionally things work, that you work really hard to get happening, and you try and this isn't working, and it's this really difficult problem, and then suddenly you start to realize it's like, hang on, this is working exactly the way I always hoped it would. And so this is the situation I've found myself in this year, and particularly sort of earlier this year, that just everything was getting done to my amazement. And it's sort of like, how can this be? And it's like, well, this is what I've been trying to get happen for a year, right? So I just simply want to share the ideas I've come across. And these 5 apps I've got down here in the corner, this is something of a regime for me. Now, not everything is going to work for everybody, obviously, but I hope that 1 or 2 things that I show you might resonate and might give you some ideas and might connect with you. Now, I have tried to be careful to not over-prepare. So once I walk through mine, I'd love to hear yours. I'm hoping I've left enough time. I'm pretty sure I have. With that in mind, though, I would ask, please, if you could hold comments till the end, and the chat is going to go straight by me. I'm not going to be looking, so maybe I'll look at the end. But if you have questions or comments, let's sort of do that at the end, and I'd like to sort of have a discussion about it as well. Next thing to mention is, to be very, very clear, none of this, I don't have a commercial interest in any of this. A couple of the apps I'm going to show you are paid apps, and they're not cheap. But I have absolutely no stake in it. In fact, I don't know the exact cost of these apps. And while you watch, if you wanted to get onto the App Store and sort of maybe download the free version or something and have a look at the information about what this costs, because I don't know. When you've got the apps and you paid for them, you don't see that information on the App Store anymore. So I don't know what the cost of these are, but again, I don't have any commercial interest in any of these, okay? So let's get going. Now, my situation, just to contrast perhaps with yours, I'm an English language teacher here in Japan. I'm Australian. I've been in Japan for 13 years. I was teaching in Australia for 4 years before I came here. I teach at 3 universities. One is my full-time university, which is where I am right now, and 2 part-time universities. And this is a pretty typical situation for people in doing this job. What it means, and it's probably different from a lot of teachers, is I see my students once a week for 90 minutes in large classes. So I'm dealing with upwards of 350 students a week, but I only see them for 90 minutes. And obviously I don't have a great deal of sort of relationship building time or opportunities for that. It's pretty bang, 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 right? It's pretty hectic. Being a university educator means I'm teaching 2 15-week semesters a year. And that might, to a lot of people, sound like not much. And yes, there is that. I have long breaks, but the breaks are not breaks. These are long periods of time that cannot be wasted. And this is like self-directed work. It never ends. As a university educator, I'm constantly under pressure to build my resume and just do more and do more and do more. Nobody ever tells me, okay, yes, you've done enough. That never comes through, right? You just got to keep on going and doing more and more and hoping that it'll stick, and so they can get the next contract. Also, it means that these 15-week semesters, they're pretty intense. And I'm right now coming up to week 14 next week, which is very welcome. I've got to prepare as much as I can during those weeks, during those off weeks. But it's difficult because I don't know what the students are going to be like. I've never met them before. I don't know if they're going to be sort of what level they're at. So it's pretty difficult. Now, on top of that, that's my basic work situation. But on top of that, I do all this other stuff. I'm very active in the Japan Association for Language Teaching, and I'm the chapter president of my local 80-member group. I'm editor of a journal because we've got to keep all this stuff going. So I founded and edited a journal within JALT in the group called the CUE, the College and University Educators group of JALT. So I edit a journal there. What else? Well, I got a website I'm trying to build because I'm trying to teach myself Japanese, and I'm coming up with some good ideas and I want to share them. So I go and put myself through that as well. And actually talking about my hobby earlier, I'm into drawing on the iPad, and I use an app called Sketch Club, and it's got a good community side, and I'm pretty active in the sort of volunteer sense of leadership on that thing. Oh, did I mention I've got 3 kids under 8? Yes. Okay, good. And now on top of this, I got sort of certain, I'm running out of room here, certain exercise necessities. If I'm sitting in a chair all day, every day, week after week after week, I am it's gonna hurt. So I've got to have, scheduled time for this. I'm constantly doing job applications for the next job. I'm learning Japanese as well. There's that. Yeah, that takes a bit of time. I'm writing. I'm an author. I write my own papers and things like that. Constantly going to conferences and things, and online conferences like this, and there seems to be one every 2 or 3 weeks these days, and I'm busy right now. I don't expect that I'm any busier than any of you, but basically, this is my life, is sort of juggling balls in the air. So let's cut to 2020, and suddenly it became like this, right? And I'm sure this is familiar to all you guys. Now, the problem that I met last year was not so much that I had so much to do, but there was so many balls in the air, and they have sort of different durations, different, like some things I can just do right now and do right now and do right now. But there are so many things that came up that just needed a bit more space to plan and prepare and to carry out. And this became the organizational nightmare, because every afternoon the classes would finish and I'm like, right, what am I doing tomorrow? And sort of work that out. And then I discover in the process of working out tomorrow is that I haven't done that thing that I needed to have done. And that's going to take me at least 3 hours to do that now, because I should have had this ready and I should have been preparing bit by bit, but I hadn't had time, and blah, 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 blah. Right. So that's where we were. Now, cut to the chase. I'm at the position now where I simply don't drop the ball right now. I just know where they all are. And I know what's coming, and it's all fine. I'm in this situation still, right? This online learning has continued into this year. Look, it isn't fun, but I get it all done. There's a little rhyme for you. It isn't fun, but I get it all done. Now, of course, I do mess up occasionally. I drop 1 or 2, but it's never a biggie. It hasn't been a big problem for a long, long time. Now, the philosophy I'm sort of looking at here, and I'm about to get to the apps I'm talking about, is just the ability to set and forget. This is my main theme here. The whole point is to be able to just sort of just drop everything from my mind. The balls are in the air, things are moving, things are going, but I don't need to think about it. I can forget it, because it's in my apps, it's coming, it's taken care of. And I can just be confident at the end of every day that I've got everything done that needs to be done, long-term and short-term. And I can set and forget, right? So these apps that I've been using, this is my regime, right? And hopefully you'll see something here. I'm going to go through each one, and hopefully you'll see something here that you can use. But you might find, as I go through this, you might sort of think, geez, this guy's really sort of set up a pretty oppressive regime for himself, because I'm using this pretty tightly now, pretty strictly. I've got a kind of system that I'm following. It's not rigid though. It is rigid, but it's only as rigid and oppressive as my responsibilities as they exist with or without these apps. They're coming regardless. The jobs I've got to do are coming, but I've just got a handle on them, and it's so good. And I'm just so excited to discover this year that things are going smoothly, right? So I've been using all these apps for different times, and for some time, I mean, the one-timer app I'm going to show you, I've had about 4 years. To do, I've had for about 6 or 7 years. But just reminders we've all got, that's a built-in app on the iOS and Mac OS. Of course, Keynote is nothing new to a lot of people, but just the way I've been using these and the way I've organized them together, it's been really working for me. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about each one. One-timer. Life changer, absolute life changer. All right, so this is simply a countdown timer app, but it's a countdown timer app with a difference. It's a countdown timer app that gives voice alerts. So it tells me how much time I have left. It's extraordinarily customizable. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to give a demo, but basically this one-timer app, this is my team. of perfectly loyal and perfectly reliable handlers and managers and assistants and helpers that keep me on track and allow me to think of other things as I go, right? So I'm going to now share my iPad and give you a walk through this. Can I just get a confirmation from somebody as I do this, just a minute, that you can hear the sound? If I share my iPad, you can see that, right? Now, can I just get a confirmation that you can hear this from somebody?
30 seconds.
Is that coming through? That's a thumb up. Okay, good. Thank you. Good. Thanks. Great. Okay. All right. So here it is, right? I started using this app as a gym timer. I'm into weight training, so you want to have like 90-second breaks. But if you use a traditional timer, you've constantly got to be looking at it, right? And if you don't look, you just come back and it's zero. And you're like, well, how long has it been at zero? So this one, as you can see, look, I'll just set it and go.
30 seconds.
All right. So I've set this up to tell me how much time I've got left, and it'll count itself down. And in a minute, it'll tell me again while I think about other things.
20 seconds.
20 seconds, okay. And now I think about other things, and I'm looking at this, and perhaps I'm scrolling at something else on my phone, or I'm talking to somebody, and this is in my earphone, and it's going to tell me in a second that I have
10 seconds.
10 seconds left, and right? It's free my attention,
5,
right, in the gym.
4,
Oops, here's a little
3, 2, 1. Time is up.
Time is up. Thank you very much. Okay, now that's the simple version. Now, if I customize the gears at the top here, I can customize this a lot. The reminder frequency, how often do you want to be told how much time you have left? It's very customizable. The per second countdown at the end, do I want 5 seconds to 5, 4, 3, 2? No, I don't really need that. So I think I'll disable that and that'll be gone. Keep reminding after the time's up. That might be useful if I'm in the gym and I see how late I am to start the next set, if I'm that strict. And so on and so on. The voice reminder contents down here. When it starts, it will say the name of the timer. Oh, actually, this one doesn't have a name. I'll get to that in a minute. But how much time left, or I can completely customize it. Down the bottom here, I can type in a sentence. I'll leave that there, and I'm going to go to the second page. At the bottom, it says advanced. See the second tab at the bottom, advanced. Now, this is the magic of this app. This has just been a life changer. What we can do here is create timers that I can use again and again and again. Now, the top one here on the left is the best one, and what I came up with using this app for last year. Class starts. I've got a class starting at 10:30. I've got a million things I've got to do. All right, I've got this and this. I've got to go up here. I've got to make my coffee. I've got to do this. I've got to email somebody, blah, blah, blah. It's one less thing I need in my mind, that Zoom class is going to start at 10:30 and I need to be there. So all I need to do is do this, play.
Class starts, 2 hours, 16 minutes, 16 seconds.
Okay, I set that on my phone. I usually use my phone and I forget it. And that will remind me periodically how much time I have left. It's as simple as that, but it is such a game changer. Right, I'll dig into here and see. I'll look at the gears I've got on this. The reminder frequency, I've got a custom setting. I'll show you down here my custom configuration at the bottom, below 1 minute every 30 seconds. So it's going to get pretty urgent. 1 to 5 minutes every minute, once a minute. 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left. 5 to 10 every 2 minutes. I don't need it quite so much, but further out, every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, every 1 hour. So I can push that button. 2 hours, 16 minutes left. He's not going to. He'll tell me at 2 hours, and then he'll tell me at 1 hour, and then it'll get more and more frequent. It's magic. It sits in my pocket, and I can walk around, and I'm constantly just being nudged. This is how much time I've got left, and very often it's good news. I've got plenty of time left. But as I get closer, it's like, okay, time to switch off all these other things, set up my room and be on time, right? So at the beginning of the day, quite often I'll set 2 or 3 of these. The second one here is called Get Out of Here. It's called Get Out. Let's see here.
Get out of here. 23 hours, 29 minutes and 55 seconds.
I don't quite need that much time warning, but that's to get me out of the house on time in the morning. And I'll often use that with my kids as well. But it's just that thing. How much time do I have left until I need to get out? Right now, customizable. In terms of customizable, the voice reminder contents, the second group down here. When it starts, it's going to say the name of the timer and tell me how much time I have left. And in progress, it's going to say the name of the timer and how much time I have left. And at the end, I've got the default setting. Okay, time is up. But I might customize that. So at the end, it says, okay, it's time to get to work. Bang. And that's what it will say.
Okay, it's time to get to
All
work.
right, thanks very much, and off I go. And it's sort of this personalized thing. It's quite fun, right? So I've just another. I'll move on from here, but when the meeting is going to start, and quite often I'll have 2 or 3 of these running at once. All right, my meeting is going to start at 1:30, so I want those reminders. And you can customize it so tightly that it's exactly what you want. A stretch timer between classes. I'll just put this on and just keep on stretch. That's to keep me going. Keep on stretching for 5 minutes. Don't be distracted for 5 minutes. Do the old, do all this. I've got a this thing ends thing. Last year, I was doing a lot of help desk Zoom sessions where the students would be doing their own work, but I'd be sitting in a Zoom room like this, usually alone, but just available. And I'll just have that, this thing ends and I can turn off the Zoom and do something else. Keep doing this thing I'm going to come back to later. The Pokemon, every Friday, Pokemon starts at 5:55 p.m. So if my kids want to watch it, then they've got to have the house tidy and, do their homework and all that kind of thing. So I put that on in the afternoon and that reminds them, and that's a bit of fun. Okay, that's one timer. It's magic. And I just saw the chat. Okay, somebody's looked on the app. There is a free version. I know it's a free version. You've got to pay for the more advanced features. I don't know what the difference is because I've been using this app for long enough that that I don't need to, I can't see it on the App Store anymore. Okay, just a minute. I'm going to come back to this and let me skip ahead a slide. Okay, basically what it means for me, this is what I mean by this, right? My team of perfectly loyal and reliable handlers that just tell me how much time I have left. It has been a real game changer. It simply means that I'm always on time for classes and Zoom classes, right, and meetings, and I'm always unstressed. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I can concentrate fully on other things until that time is coming up. Now, sometimes it's good news how much time I've got left, and other times it's a bit of a kick, right? It's like, oh, better hurry up, right? And the customizable thing, I've made it a lot of fun, and it's funny for me. And sometimes those customizable endings are funny, and I amuse my kids with this as well. All right, so that's one timer. That's my first one, and I am going to come back to this later. Next one is to do. To do. Now, to do is simply a to-do list app. Now, I've said a to-do list app with great features for organizing various kinds of tasks in various ways. Now, to-do list. There's a million. There's a million to-do list apps on the App Store. I don't know what others are doing because I've been using this for some time. I'm sure that there are many apps with all the features I'm about to walk through here, but for people who are not using a to-do list app, and I don't know what this costs now anymore. When I bought it, it was expensive. It was something like $40, but I'd been using the free version. I wanted to level up. It was working great. So I'm just going to walk through some features that you might look for if you are going to start using a to-do list, or if you wanted to change what you're doing, right? This has been working so well for me. Basically, to-do syncs to all my devices. Currently, it's going to 5. It's going to 2 iPads, an iPhone, 2 MacBooks, and must be one more iPad. I've got too many. I've got several, but they're all old. But it syncs to all my devices. It goes through Dropbox, actually. It has folders for organizing and separating different aspects of work and life. That's a helpful thing. Right? Tasks that I said here can have a due date or not, and that's a nice distinction to have. Again, I'm sure this is nothing particularly exclusive to this particular app, but this is what I use and what I get the most out of. Tasks can automatically recur after completion. I can set things to just come back again the next day, or in 2 days, or in 3 days, or in a week, or in a month, or 3 months, right? Just automatically coming back if I want them to. The last one here. Now, this is a game changer for me this year. It handles not only single tasks one by one, but also checklists. This is something I haven't really used until this year. So to quote Craig Federighi, I'd love to show it to you now. But when Craig does it, he's using a demo version, and I'm not. I'm using my real thing. So I've been careful to go through and try to protect my privacy, so to speak, right? But I'm going to show you my actual to-do list here, my actual app. And here it is. So there's nothing too incriminating here, but a lot of things won't make sense. Usually in a demo that have things that make sense to everybody, but a lot of this won't. Basically, let's just go through what this looks like on the iPad. And as I said, this syncs to my MacBook and my phone. That looks pretty much the same. Over here on the left, different views. This is every task listed. There's hundreds. In fact, I've got 135 tasks on here at the moment. My list of things to do today only. I can star. I don't have any, I do have a couple of things starred, but basically here's my lists, all the different aspects of work and life. My university name there, Fukuoka Daigaku here, sort of broad work, general work, a couple of my other universities, my life, general life, my job, my professional association, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the different things that I do here. So if I was to click on one of them, the top one, the red one, Fukuoka University, that's all the things I've got to do for my main job, right? And my part-time job here and my other part-time job here. Let's go to, say, the today list. Now, as what you'll see here, oh, look, there's something I forgot to do yesterday. I've got to renew my foreign residence card here. So what I might do is simply just hold that and say, yeah, I'll do that later today. Done. Okay, that's gone on to today. You'll notice the circles on the side. That's got a recurring thing. That's something that comes up again and again. This is an email list that is very spammy, so I go and check it manually. Look, that's going to, if I tap on that, you can see over on the right, it's going to recur every 3 days after completion. So if I don't want to do that today, look, what I might do, in fact, is just bump that to tomorrow. I'm not going to do that today. It's not urgent. That's on tomorrow now. It's gone. Review text, that's something I can, look, I actually won't even bother doing that. I'll just say that I've done it. That's not important. That's fine. I can do that some other time. Now, what you'll notice, I don't know how much of this is making sense because it's all my own jargon for me, right? But a lot of the things I simply don't have to do today. I don't have to do them today. I can bump them off till tomorrow. I'm going to come back to that actually. This thing, this thing must be administered in week 14. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. I must remember that. But that's not important for me today. So I'm just going to put that on for tomorrow. Tomorrow, tap, and that's gone. Okay. Making a task. Let's say I need to make a task for this. I keep on forgetting. No, that's right. I've got to email Alex about that thing. So I might just do that. Done. Okay, saved. So that's for today. I've got to email Alex about that thing about. What's that other thing? Yes, I keep on forgetting to go into the main office and check my pigeonhole. So I'm going to make a reminder here to say, yeah, I've got to remember to check my pigeonhole in the, my little mailbox in the main office down there. Yeah, I've got to remember. Now, the third icon along at the bottom there, or in the middle, that there's recurring, all right? So I'm going to set this to repeat after completion. Oh, sorry, I'm going to make a custom repeat every given period. I need to go in there. Maybe I'll do that every sort of 4 days, and I'd like it to repeat, not on a 4-day schedule, but after I've completed it. So I'll just do that, and there it is. Check my pigeonhole every 4 days, and ready, set, save, done. And it comes up with a little circular sign, right? Let's say I've done that. Check. Okay, I've done that. I could go through and find that. There it is. It's set for next Monday. You see it where it says next 7 days. It's set for next Monday. I've got to go and remember to do that. All right, now the next thing I want to show you, and this has been the game changer for me this week. I've got these in my work broader thing because these apply to all different universities that I'm working at. Tomorrow morning, I've got a task here, a checklist called Friday mid-morning tasks. Tomorrow morning, I've got a class at 9 till 10:30. And after that, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I need to do every Friday, every week. Right, it's got 11 tasks in it. If I tap that, here they all are. They won't make much sense again. But this is great. I've got a Friday mid-morning list. I've got a Friday afternoon list. I've got a Monday afternoon list. What have I got? Actually, go back. What are my lists? Friday afternoon, Monday afternoon, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday afternoon. All right, these are things that I've just got to do every week at that time. I can't do them before because the things are not closed yet. The tasks are not closed, and I can't do them after or else I'll be late. So these are things that I say when I'm brain dead, just tell me what to do, right? Go back to tomorrow morning. There's a lot here, right? I've got to close the responses on some Google Forms. I've got to get the scores from my Monday and Wednesday classes for these classes. I've got to update the score update sheet for my Monday classes and my Wednesday classes. That's a Google form that I keep. I got to check all my Moodles to make sure the links are working. I do that every week because I've learned the hard way, oops, I got a dead link and that ruins everything. So it's just so magic to go through, and I can reset this later, but as I go through each one, yes, okay, I've done that. Good, that's done. Get the DCI scores. Yes, I've done that. That's done. You can see the square at the top changing numbers, right? And these are all, I've got 18% of my Friday mid-morning tasks already done. I checked their attendance. Yes, I've done that. I've recorded the attendance. So this is when I'm brain dead, things I've just got to get done, and they will get done. and it's been a real winner for me. That's been a real winner for this app for me this year. Again, I'm sure that other apps do exactly the same thing, but if you can find one that does all of these, then go for it. Go for your life. Again, I mean, I don't have any special, I'm not selling this app by any means, but it's an app that will do that. It has been fabulous for me this year. Just that thing of set and forget. Now I'm going to go back to the keynote and go through a few sort of general tips that I've been finding have worked for me for using the to-do list. If I can find my remote. Here it comes. Okay, let's go through. Must be here. Here it is. Okay. So a couple of things that I'm using as, is that not working? There it is. Recurring, things that recur that you might not have thought of, but eventually gradually I've come across these and incorporated them into my regime. Just every 2 weeks, I clear my entire desk and give it a whole big wipe down with spray. I just clean everything every 2 weeks. It seems to be the right time, and it just comes up once I've done it. I say it's done, and it'll come and remind me in 2 weeks. It's great. Checking through your spam folders. How often do you do that? You never remember, right? But I've got a reminder sort of every 4 or 5 days just to go through and check if anything's come through that shouldn't have been there, that I don't want to wait too long to miss it. It might take 30 seconds, but it's something that I don't forget. Check that you've got working pens in your bag, right? I used to have this situation where I'd turn up at class and I've got no pens. I've got to ask a student to borrow a pen, right? Because I've been using them all. I've left them here on my desk, or I've taken them home or something. So every couple of days during the semester, every 3 days, I just check that I've got a black, a red, a blue pen, this and this, a couple of masks. Have I got spare masks in my bag? Have I got, these things, just to sort of a little nudge. And quite often it's like, yes, got it, done. It takes 10 seconds, but it means I don't forget. Just a reminder to restart my phone every now and then, restart my iPads. Things tend to work better. Occasionally it just gets a little bit gluggy, restart the thing and it works beautifully, right? Every couple of days. There are certain websites I need to check. I don't want to check it every day, but just every maybe 4 or 5 days. I've got some like job websites I check every about month and a half just to see what's going on. That's a nice reminder. Again, I don't forget, I don't miss things. One of my universities wants me to input the students' attendance once a month at the end of the month. So I've got a recurring reminder on the final Friday of every month to do that. And that's great. I don't forget. Nobody ever emails me and says, hey, you didn't put in your attendance, right? Checking through undated items. I've got a lot of items here on my to-do list app that have no due date, that just, don't forget about this. I'll think about that some other time. So I go through and just check that is anything current now or anything relevant now that I need to put a time on. Things I want to memorize. This is great. Okay, so this year I got a new neighbor in my neighboring office. His name is Shiro. I met him once. First thing I did, come back in here. Next door is Shiro. That comes up for me every couple of days, right? Until I memorize it. I know his name, right? I'm not going to forget his name. Other things I want to memorize. You may have seen, actually, I got one there that came out. I think it's coming up tomorrow. The password for the computer I use to the color laser printer is connected to. The password I've got there, because I always forget. Just put it in there. It reminds me every couple of days. I never forget it now. And in fact, that to-do list, that recurring thing, it was every 2 days, and then I changed it to every week, and now it's about every 3 weeks or something, just in case I nudge. Something very handy, which I wanted to include on this slide, but I ran out of room, is this, a have I heard back from item. I've got a text shortcut. This is a little separate thing, but a text shortcut that I've set. If I type XHA, it expands to this. XHA, this is in system preferences, right? For keyboard settings. XA, have I heard back from? I email somebody, hey, yo, can you please do this? And they'll tell me this. I'll code a to-do list. Have I heard back from that person about that? And if I haven't heard back in 3 or 4 days, I'll just give them another nudge, right? That's a really handy thing, because so often, email somebody, they miss it, they didn't see it, they forget, and suddenly 2 weeks has gone by. I'm like, why is my system not all working? It's because, I needed to nudge that guy. That's a real handy thing as a text shortcut. Have I heard back from John about the thing? I emailed him on Monday. I made one yesterday, actually. Now, just general ideas about to-do lists. And what I found and what I allow myself to do, look, pushing things off until tomorrow is fine. Don't worry about that. To do doesn't have to mean do this now, because that's just too much. so many things. I just want to be reminded every day, or just to know that that ball is in the air and it's there, it's taken care of, and it's not urgent yet. So look, I approach this every day, my app, with my finger hovering over the Y key, because that's the on each one, that's the shortcut to move to tomorrow. It's very handy. I can see what balls are in the air. All right. And I even if I'm not going to take care of that today, okay, that's fine. That's something that's in progress, and I'll get to it when I do. Right. That's autonomy. I mean, I'm doing it autonomously. Nobody's nagging me for this. I'm just helping myself by using these apps. I have a lot of, I call, like, recurring tasks are one thing, right? When they recur every 3 or 4 days or a week or month, but I use what I call manual move. I've got a lot of things that I just put a little thing on if I say it's done, then it's going to disappear. But instead of that, I'll just put a don't forget about this thing. And then rather than say, yes, it's done, I'll just simply change the date to when I think I might need that. For example, actually, the things I want to memorize, I'll just sort of I'll put an at the front of the entry item, so I know what that is, and I'll bump that across to when I want it to come up. Okay, so that's to do. Those are my 2 longest ones. I'm going to get through these next ones a little faster, so we're completely on track. I'm very relieved. All right, so the next one is reminders. We've all got reminders. It's built into iOS since about the iPhone 4S, I think, was the first one to have Siri, right? Now, reminders for me, a lot of what happens in To-Do can also happen in reminders. I prefer the UI of To-Do. A couple of things about reminders it certainly wasn't enough to make me change from To-Do to reminders. But for me, reminders is simply also known as Siri, right? This is how I use reminders. And this is basically, for me, the best thing about Siri. And I've got this in yellow so I don't say it, because if I say it, all your phones will light up. But hey, at 8 o'clock on Monday morning, remind me to take the red textbook. So I'm working at home in my home office, and I'm working from the book, and it's like, okay, I need this in class when I come down here. I do my lessons from here. I'm in my office, but I prepare a lot at home. I got to make sure I take this. It's Tuesday afternoon. I'm like, well, I'm going to be using this book here at home during the week to make things. I got to absolutely make sure I've got this. So I just, hey, remind me. So 8 o'clock, bang, here it comes, bang. Oh, there it is. Yes, that's right. Put it in my bag. It's fixed. I don't forget. I use reminders and Siri. I want that notification to be immediate and intrusive in a way that I don't want To-Do to be. I go to my To-Do list app, but reminders comes to me and nags me. It's the reminder that I want exactly at a certain time. Right? And I want to be alerted, and I want it to be in my face and stay on my screen until I do it. So these are the sort of urgent things that are exactly on time. It's really handy because it's easy to mark as done and to dismiss it directly from the notification. I don't need to launch the app. I very rarely open the app. I'm using it every day, but I very, very rarely open the reminders app. A couple of things that I've done recently, the one I just showed you there. Okay, hey, on Monday morning at 8 o'clock, remind me to take the red textbook just before I walk out the door. Of course, I'm going to be checking my phone before I walk out the door, so I will see that. I'm guaranteed, and I won't forget. And I'll quite often set a reminder like that, 5 days in advance. Here's some that I've done recently. Okay, 2:37 p.m. on Thursday. I have to preface each one with "Hey," and the name of the thing that we all. Right? I won't say it because your phone will explode. At 2:37 p.m. on Thursday, remind me that we didn't do page 35 last week. Okay, so I'm in a class. And something happened. We went a little slower. So I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't do that page. I've got to use this book with a couple of other classes this week. How am I going to remember? It's like, okay, I just want to be told 3 minutes before the start of that class. It's going to start at 2:40. 3 minutes before the start of that class, give me that. It's like, oh yeah, good. Okay, 37. Page 35. Good. Hey, let's start off from where we were last week, everybody. And it's right on time. And I got it. And it's just instant. And it's like, oh yeah. At 4:25 p.m. on Friday, remind me that I must speak to a few students. Okay, so I'm going through my score sheet on a Monday, and it's like, notice a couple of people haven't done that thing. It's like, oh yeah, I must talk to them. Now I could write it down, but I'm going to lose I'm going to lose the paper. I could, hey, hey, what's your name? Unfortunately, you remind me that. So this is 5 minutes before the end of that class. I'm going to get, my phone's just going to go ding. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. All right, everybody, we're finishing up now. Thanks, everybody. Okay, hey, just before you go, can I please speak to somebody and somebody? I'm going to Japanese. Can I please speak to somebody and somebody? And just, can you stay after? And I just want to ask you about your homework thing, right? Really convenient. It just comes up and I don't forget. On Tuesday at 3:25 p.m., remind me to close the test. Last week I was doing Google form tests, and I wanted to make sure it was closed exactly when I told them it was going to close, right? So that was a 5-minute warning. Yeah, this test closes at 3:25, at 3:30. So have it done. So I can just sort of notice that, give myself 1 or 2 minutes to notice it, perhaps if I'm busy doing something, and then close it directly on time. Yeah, here's one I do just for fun. I'm trying not to mix too much personal life into this, but family life. But here at 4:30 p.m. every Friday, remind me to start the Pokemon timer. I showed you that before. So I start that when I'm here on my phone. So I get home and my phone is already telling me every 10 minutes by the time I get home, or telling my kids rather, Pokemon starts 45 minutes, right? So, oh, quick. Oh, they better tidy up the floor and do all their homework and tidy everything up, right? So that's how I use reminders, for that immediate thing, that immediate intrusive thing that comes up on my phone and stays there. Not many notifications come to me. I don't allow many notifications, but reminders is something that I use a lot. It comes up on all my devices, so I don't miss it, and it's right on time. Okay, Keynote, my convenient and familiar layout tool. I'm going to go through this real quickly, but Keynote is so much more than presentation software. And here I am using this, obviously, right? Now, to show you this, I'm going to have to close this one. It'll stop and bounce me back to that. And I'm going to open up my other file. Now, this is really simple, and I'll share the next window as it comes up. This is really simple, and this won't make a lot of sense again until I explain it. But this was a game changer for me, really a game changer for me this year during the winter break. I just made up this little chart here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every day. And these are all the things I need to do, right? These things that just have to be done. Now, ordinarily, I would find myself, okay, go to my computer on a Tuesday morning and say, right, what am I going to do today? Right, I've got to write that paper. I've got to write this research paper that I've got all the stats for. I just got to write it up. And I would try to do it all day. Look, life-changing. I've got all these things. Okay, so today's Thursday. First thing I'm going to do today is just spend about half an hour just getting organized. It says to do and organize. Then I've got to work on my class for tomorrow at this university. This is Nakamura University. Okay, I've got to do some JALT stuff today. And I just plan out my day. This is my planning tool, right? Oh, look at that. I can delete this one now. My 80-year present. Actually, in fact, I will. Bang, it's gone. It's fixed. Don't need to work on that anymore. Then I've got to do, what else have I got to do today? I've got to do some Japanese study. I've got to do that. And then I've got to work on the Q Circular Journal that I edit. And look, I just lay these things out. And I use this tightly with one timer. I've come up with this system of, I've got with one timer, I set a timer. You may have seen it before. It says, keep doing this thing for 30 minutes. Keep it, and I push it, bang, keep doing this thing for 30 minutes. And it gives me a timer every 5 minutes, a reminder. So I will do this thing for 30 minutes. If I haven't finished it at the end of 30 minutes, if I want to, I might continue a little bit more, or I'll say, right, that's done. Okay, next. Okay, and I'll start the timer again on my JALT, my Japan Association for Language Teaching Professional Society thing. All right, I've got to do some work on that. 30 minutes. Keep doing this thing for 30 minutes. I'll do each one for 30 minutes. And I'll just simply move it along. I'll kick the can down the road, right? I'll do 30 minutes of Japanese. It's just been magic. I cannot recommend this any more highly. Ordinarily, I would look at what I've got to do today. Okay, today I've got to prepare that class. So here we go. I'm just going to simply do that all day. And what I find now, when I do have things that must be done today, I've got a 2-hour thing that I've got to do before tomorrow that just came in, right? I'll be so exhausted after 2 hours of working on one thing. But if I do 4 things for 30 minutes each, I feel fresh, I feel new, I feel energetic each time. And basically what this sort of system did, I'll move this here, and again, tomorrow, the first thing I'll do is just sort of spend 30 minutes checking emails, getting organized, making my plan for the day. all these things, job application, yeah, better spend some time on my job application, but only 30 minutes. I'm not going to do it all. I've got to do my tax returns. I'm trying to figure out my tax return situation in Australia, but I'll do it for 30 minutes at a time. Now, this is working so well for me. I'll go back to my other keynote here. This was working so well for me in the long breaks when I had lots of time to do 30-minute slots. During the semester now, I'm finding I can do sort of maybe 10-minute slots occasionally, right? I have less time, but as I say here, this was particularly useful. Oh, sorry, I'm not on the right screen. Sorry, let's try this again. I'll go back to sharing this one. Okay, here we are. We've got two keynote windows open. That coming up? Yes, okay. So this was particularly useful during my long days and weeks of non-class work, which are busy and urgent and must get done. It's a fantastic tool for just planning and organizing. It's a layout. It's just a layout tool. Working closely with One-Timer, as I said. What I found through the winter breaks, and this is one of my biggest takeaways for this whole presentation, is that suddenly long-term projects were just inexplicably finished. It was just done. 30 minutes at a time, do it, bump it to the next day and do 30 more minutes. And things that ordinarily would be like a month's work were just done. It's incredible what you can do in 30 minutes at a time, or 10 minutes at a time, or 15 minutes at a time. It's magic, just magic. This has been a real life changer for me, really. I don't say that lightly. I have some fun with this. I've made my One-Timer be a bit more amusing for myself. It says to me, "Excuse me, sir, keep doing this thing for a further 25 minutes. And at the end of my 30 minutes, it says it's customizable little alert. Right, that's enough. Now go and do something else. I go, okay, all right, thank you, assistant. Right, okay, and I'll sort of wrap that up and bring up my, close that window, open up my next window, get everything organized. Right, okay, keep doing this thing for 30 minutes. It's so counterintuitive to think that I haven't finished it, but I'm stopping. But there's more. I know what I'm doing, but I'm going to stop and start the next task. And basically, my new modus operandi is to kick several cans down the road at once, because suddenly it is finished. I could give you examples after example of things that just like, what? It's done? How can that be? It's like, well, 30 minutes at a time. The thing about the One-Timer, I set it for 30 minutes and I'll get to work and I'll do lots and I'll do this and this and this. Suddenly it says, excuse me, sir, keep doing this thing for a further 25 minutes. I go, what? It's only been 5 minutes? Wow, I've gotten so much done. Great. Okay, cool. I'm on it. I'm blazing here. This is going great. And then at the end, 5 minutes, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, go and do something else. Okay. Often I'll go to to-do list. And okay, the next thing I need to do on my tax returns or whatever it was, the next thing I need to do is something, right? Cool. So the next day I open it up, right? What am I doing here? Oh, that's right. Okay, I know exactly where I left off. Keep doing this thing for 30 minutes and off I go. All right. The last one I'm going to show you, real quick one, is Hindsight. And this is just a bit of fun, really. This is an app that allows you to answer the question, how long has it been since I did such and such task? It's not a reminder. It's not a to-do list. It's just for sort of interest. Mostly it's just a curiosity thing. At best, it's a bit of a nudge. It's like, oh, I haven't done that for a long time. I better get back and give some attention to this. These are for things that I don't want to do. I don't want them reminders. I'm going to do these things anyway, but sometimes, you get busy, you miss things. I use these for jobs, of course, and work tasks, but often like exercise, right? I love exercise. It's a kind of a hobby, but occasionally you get busy. How long's it been? And you look at this app, like, whoa, I haven't exercised for like 8 days. Oh, okay. It can alert you via notifications. I'll show you in a minute. Basically, it's just interesting if you're a data nerd like me, if you'd like stats and numbers and figures and know how long it's been since. I'll show you very quickly. Again, this will sync on your device. In fact, I need to turn sideways for this one. Is that coming up? Yes, it is. Okay, so Hindsight for me is here. All right, so this is telling me, the top one there is exercise. I exercised yesterday, so I told it, yes, I've done it. And it told me it's been 1 day since I've exercised. That's good. The office plants, I've got a couple of plants here in my office. I don't want to water them every day. I don't want them to do, but I'll occasionally, and I'll just tell it that I did. I'll simply say, done it. Now it's been 1 second since I watered my plants, apparently, but it just keeps a stat. How long has it been since I did anything on the website I'm trying to build called JapaneseLanguageDrills.com? Well, I haven't done anything for 7. Yeah, probably should get on with that. I probably ought to put that on my to-do list to do tomorrow because it's been a while. I like to have a clear inbox. That's the kind of goal for me. And just how long has it been since everything's taken care of? Either, I've put things in folders, my inbox is empty. That's a really good achievement. And how often can I do that? Watering my plants. How long has it been? Ooh, reading novels. Yes, it's been a while. If I look into any of these, if I tap that read a novel, it'll give me a graphic visualization of how often I do these things and long gaps up there, right? How many times have I done this? There they all are. Every time that I've just gone into the app after I've done something, just gone into the app, swiped it to the right and say, yes, I just did that thing. And it starts a countdown timer. It's good fun. It's a good one. I don't know what this costs. I think I got this one on one of those free app of the day things, but that's a good bit of fun. I like that one as well. Okay. I'm actually on time. This is going great. And that gets me pretty much to the end, which is wonderful. And that gives us about a little bit of time to hear yours. Before I go, however, I just want to say, again, my regime here, right? It occurred to me as I prepared this presentation that it may look like I'm really locked into something quite strict. But as I said, it's only as strict as my own, these things are coming at me whether I want them to or not, but I've got them handled. I've got all these balls in the air, but it truly feels like this. I know where each one is, right? And I know that the reminder is going to come up, or it's going to come up on my to-do list in time, that I'm not going to drop anything. It's just been such an easy semester in that sense that I'm not scrambling at the end of every day trying to remember, okay, what have I got to do for tomorrow? What have I got to do for, okay, that thing's coming up next week. I've got my calendar. Oh, gee, I should have started that a month ago. All those sort of things. It's been really good. So I'm looking forward to hearing your ideas as well. I just want to finish with one final tip. And this is a big one for efficiency, productivity hounds like me. And I got this little tip on Reddit a few months back, and it was how to apply efficiency and productivity in your non-work life, in your family life, in your free time life. How do you get these principles to work in your free time and when you're not working? The tip is don't. Right? Don't bother trying. Right? Let's be efficient and productive at work. But when you're off work, allow yourself to be inefficient and unproductive and just unconcerned. Don't worry about it. This was something for me because I got all these great tools and I started applying them everywhere, right? But I read that tip on Reddit on life pro tips that people just give advice, And I thought, that's actually really good. Yeah, that's really quite good. Work is work, life is life. Separate them and allow myself to just be inefficient and occasionally lie on the floor and watch YouTube videos for 2 hours at a time, right? If I've got that magical window of opportunity without kids for 2 hours, it's like take the time to relax and do that. So having said all that about productivity and efficiency, keep it to work, right? There we are. I welcome any emails or correspondence here, home@stevepayton.com. I have put up images of most of these slides onto my website here, stevepayton.com/efficiency. So on that note, thank you very much for coming in, and I hope we can have a bit of a discussion and share some ideas. My pen's ready to hear other people's ideas.